We have a segment on Nothing Personal that we started. For anybody who's a movie fan, you may have seen a movie called Half Baked. We're not going to review it today, but if you haven't seen it, go see it. One of the great things in that movie is everyone wants to talk to Samson. That's the quote. Hey, I want to talk to Samson. Well, all you have to do is DM me on Twitter at David P. Sampson. Tell me you want to talk to me and give me a subject to talk about, and I'll take a look and I'll talk about one of them on Nothing Personal. I got one yesterday that was too good, so it went into the show. So you wanted to talk to Samson, you've got it. Jim Crane, the owner of the Astros, didn't want to talk to anyone at the MLB owners' meetings. And to prove that point, he surrounded himself with security and policemen. So we're going to play a game here. And the game is this. Why would Jim Crane exactly do that when he could have done this? We're going to have a press conference right now. Jim Crane had law enforcement between him and the media. Everything he did was wrong, but I'm going to tell you now what Jim Crane should have done, and I'm going to play two parts here. My regular voice will be the Jim Crane voice, and my voice like this will be the media voice asking Jim Crane questions. It starts like this at an owners meeting because you have to walk past media. At every owners meeting, there's a section for the media, and you walk past them. Some owners stop, some owners don't. If you want to have a press conference at an owners meeting, you can do that, just not when the commissioner's talking. So first the media would say, Jim, can we have a comment, please? And he'll walk right by. No problem, because he has to walk past the media again the next time. So here it happens. Jim, any comment on the Astros investigation or what the commissioner just said about the penalties that could be imposed on your team? Well, thank you so much for asking that. I would definitely like to address that, and I would like to start by answering any questions you have, but beforehand, I want to say something to our fans. I want to tell you that as owner of the Houston Astros, Jim Crane, me, and my family, we are completely mortified at the possibility that anyone would think that we would do anything to impact the integrity of a Major League Baseball game. We have worked so hard in this community, along with our corporate partners and our great stakeholders and the fans who show every day to Minute Maid Park. We have taken great and painful strides to make sure that we build a sustainable team that can be great for years and years to come and compete for a World Series. I would never do anything possible in order to hurt the relationship between me and you. Thank you. Mr. Crane, were you aware of a camera in center field? Well, no, of course I was not aware. As the owner of the team, I leave that up to the people who work for me. I can't imagine that there would be a camera in center field that was directly into the dugout, but there's an investigation ongoing right now. But if there were, that is something, of course, I would not know about. Sidebar, this is back to David Sampson. Do you think it's okay for Jim Crane to sell out his president of baseball operations, Jeff Luhnow, or someone below Jeff Luhnow? Well, here's how it works in the real world. Someone will take the fall for the camera in center field. If Jim Crane's smart, they will have chosen that person already, and it's not Brandon Taubman who already took the fall for the other issues with the Astros. Someone will have to, because the commissioner of baseball is going to do an investigation, and in that investigation, it is critical that someone is blamed for the activity. Just like with the Red Sox in 2017, who were accused and then penalized for using electronic equipment to steal signs, it was said first thing by the commissioner. Dave Dombrowski and John Henry and Tom Werner, the heads of the Red Sox, had no idea what was going on. Whether or not you believe it is a whole nother segment. But Jim Crane has got to start the process of laying the blame at someone else's foot. You think that's cowardly? That's called a Tuesday in PR. Someone will take the hit. Back to my press conference. Mr. Crane, if you found out who it was, would you wait for MLB to penalize, or is there something you would do first? Well, thank you. I would like to point out that we are doing our own internal investigation because I find it absolutely upsetting that something like this could have happened. So we are putting a lot more internal controls in. We're using our stadium operations department. We're using our own security department. And if I find out, and I will, exactly how this happened, I will make sure the people responsible for this are let go immediately. Why? Because it is unacceptable to think that we need any unfair advantage in order to win a game. Mr. Crane, would you like to comment on Commissioner Manford saying that the penalties against your team may be the most significant of all time? Well, no, I wouldn't like to comment on that, except I would say that I'm very supportive of Commissioner Rob Manford and in his desire to make sure that the integrity of our game. This is David Sampson. Notice I always go back to the integrity of the game. That is the critical word that you have to bridge back to in every PR answer you give. Back to Jim Crane. I absolutely support Commissioner Manford in anything he would do because I know that the integrity of the game is the #1 issue, and I will be supportive of whatever penalty. Mr. Crane, what if you lose draft picks? I know very well that draft picks are how we made this team. I know who Jeff Lunau has drafted and Ed Wade before him as the GM, and I'm aware that we're good because of the draft picks we've made, forgetting Mark Appel, of course, but everyone else. So losing draft picks would hurt. But in the overall health of baseball and for the betterment of Major League Baseball, if that's what it takes, then that's okay. Mr. Crane, my final question. If you are fined millions of dollars, is it true that it will be a cut in payroll for the millions of dollars? Well, thank you. That's a very good question. I promise you here today that we will have the payroll that is necessary in order to defend our National League pennant, our American League pennant, our National League pennant. I'm completely blanking, Coca, because it's that kind of day. I guarantee you that we will defend our American League pennant, and no matter what it takes, I will never take away payroll in order to pay any fine, no matter how substantial, that is brought upon me by Major League Baseball. Are there any other questions? No, thank you, Mr. Crane. Thank you very much for whoever DM'd, but that's how the press conference should have gone. Instead, Jim Crane hid behind the police. I'm not exactly sure why he would do that, but it simply made him look horrific.